They gotta go. It's time to go. And it's time to say hello. Hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the broken down, low rent, sleazy, double greasy pirate radio Nut Hut Studios, it's time for the very first ever Southern.
CPR Street Gang, this is all mighty. Standing by, over. CPR Street Gang, this is all mighty. Standing by, over.
Right now, it's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines,
clocks run out, time's up. Wind is blowing cold and dark. On the road and no way out. Broken hearts, the smoking gun. On the run. On the run.
What's the problem?
Smells like fish in here.
What is that? What was that? Some sort of signal? Huh? Is that a signal?
No.
You wearing a wire?
No, it really does smell like fish in here.
You're a damn cop, ain't you? That's it. Show these guys what we do to cops.
Say hello to the devil for me!
I've been hit! Pablo, kill them! Kill them! Make your guns fire like
Is a lesbian, and I've looked at her relationship over the years, and it always seems just so like peaceful and easy. And sometimes I get kind of jealous of that because I'm like, God, that just seems like really nice. But then I think about the part of a lesbian relationship that requires you sticking your mouth and nose in a vagina, and I'm like, oh, nope, not jealous anymore. Like, oh, when I picture doing that, I react the same way a cat does when you put water on its face. I'm like, like, that does not appeal to me at all. But God bless you men and lesbians who go serve down in the trenches, okay? Like, I salute you. Yeah. Give it up for those troops. They don't get enough love.
My name's Jimmy. It's Friday night. Fish fry. Looks like war on the horizon.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction.
Welcome, Clyde Lewis listeners. Stick around. Got a great show planned for you.
As the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind.
Into the microcosm, Zalnia.
Their brainwashed minds. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Epic Journeyman. Epic Journeyman. Are you there?
I am here.
Excellent.
Barely. I had to navigate the world, use my GPS satellites, my submarine launched ballistic missile system, and all kinds of things to get here, but I've found my way. I found my way and I am here.
Excellent. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Microcosmos Friday Night Fish Fry. My name's Jimmy. That is the Epic Journeyman right there. He's over on the main island. Are you on the main island there today? Or are you back?
I'm on Maui. I'm on Maui today.
Oh, you're on Maui. I see. Well, see, Epic's an island hopper. Ladies and gentlemen, he gets to hop islands while you and I sit over here and twiddle our thumbs in the urban wasteland known as America. Not that you're not in America, but that you are not on the mainland. So it's almost like you're a foreign country. And if I were you, I'd be shivering like a chihuahua on the back porch, man. Looks like war is on the horizon.
It does, and I got myself kind of hyped up today thinking about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I can't surf those waves.
No, and I don't. You know, it's I know people think it's like Bruce was saying. It's out of the question. It's out of the question. Last night he was saying, Ukraine's out of the question, just like Taiwan is out of the question. But
well,
I don't...
it's not though. I did a little research about that. I knew a lot about it already, but we have a treaty with Ukraine, you know, because they had 1,900 nuclear warheads. Think about that for a second. 1,900 nuclear warheads, and they gave them up on the specific, you know, agreement that we would protect them from invasion, that we would have their back. Right, and Russia agreed to this too, by the way. So Russia said they won't invade them. So it's kind of like the agreement Hitler made with Russia. Hey, non-aggression pact. You know, hey, it's all gonna be cool, right? And we agreed to defend them. Mm-hmm. This is in the 90s. 1993 is a Hungarian. They call it the Hungarian Treaty, I think. Don't quote me on that. I have to go back and look it up. But it's in 1993 or thereabouts. And the whole idea was that okay, we got their back. They're not part of NATO, but we got their back. So they're going to give up their nuclear weapons, and what the part of it the Soviets liked was they got to, or ex-Soviets, Russians, that they get to have the nuclear material. They have to destroy the weapons, but they get the refined nuclear material, the plutonium and whatnot that made these, you know, thermonuclear bombs, and pay Ukraine for them. So for everyone they turned in, every one of these 1,900 plus nuclear warheads, they got money for those from Russia. Right, but Russia got to keep the fissionable material, so they're, you know, so we defend. The agreement is we defend Ukraine. They can't use the weapons, Russia, but they can have the fissionable material. Now think about this for a minute. This is a pretty ironclad agreement. People I don't think are understanding what this means, right? Like what it means is basically. Almost half the entire nuclear arsenal of the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union, was given up on the specific agreement that we would defend Ukraine from harm. Now, we cannot back out of this. We cannot. America cannot back. This isn't Afghanistan, man. This is not what this is.
No.
We're not part of NATO yet, whatever. We have to do this. We have to. It can't just be like, oh, we're going to do some sanctions as we're talking about now. No. And so this is like a big deal. And so 100,000 troops on the border of Ukraine is a big deal because they have to, almost to the point where they have to use them, because the situation is the ground there in that borderline area is tundra, right? Which means that it's frozen for a portion of the year, right? And then it turns to mud bogs for another part of the year. It's not like fighting in Afghanistan where the spring is the time of year to go do your thing. No. It's you do it before spring when the ground is still solid enough to take your armor across into your thing. If you wait too long, you just get stuck in the mud, right? So there's a reason all those 100,000 tanks and armored vehicles are there right now. It's because they have to do it right now, or wait till March. So if they don't do it between now and March, we're pretty good, right? So we have to stall them till March. But you look at the way things have stacked up. The Soviets have this new plane called the Su-57 Felon, which is a stealth fighter that they really feel confident about. I say the Soviets, but it's the Russians, right?
I know.
Putin feels very confident about it.
I know. It's hard not to. I mean, lots of people do.
Yeah. Cold
well,
War,
only
man.
because Russia gets treated as though they're still the Soviet Union, even though they're not. And that's the thing. Yeah,
It's a Bond villain, right? Isn't it worth talking about that Putin is a Bond villain? He's like the guy, floating around in his ship, going under the sea and doing his stuff. He's that kind of guy. He's an oligarch. He's not really a national leader. He's this oligarch that's this world super villain for all practical purposes. For real.
I'm so sick of feeling like I'm on a runaway train all the time. It's like the storylines behind half of this stuff that goes on in the news is literally you could rip your hair out over it. In other words, isn't there enough stress already? Now we're going to be having to stress about going to war with Russia. Look, war with Russia is not an option, dude. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I saw all kinds of stuff today. I just didn't even have time to go look at half of it because the conspiracy world is going ablaze on the boards with all this stuff, man. I saw some security I thought I saw Dutch security forces moving somewhere. There's people saying submarines are popping up off the coast of the United States of America. One of them with 14 warheads on it. You see that? I don't know if any of this is true. It's probably all rumors. Okay. Like I said, I haven't had time to go click through and research all these things that have been said today. But for whatever reason, this thing seems to be becoming super hot as far as being a topic of discussion. And that's what this is what I don't understand, because to me, if the thing, what is the thing over? Because Crimea wants to be part of Russia, right? So it's Georgia and Ukraine, right?
That's the thing. Like, so we get, so Bruce was talking last night about how if you go talk to people in Taiwan, they want to be part of China. Well, he was there, so I'm not going to deny what he saw there, But we hear a different story about that. Like, we built the industrial infrastructure of Taiwan specifically, just like we built most of the industrial infrastructures of all of Europe after World War II, right? It was all bombed out, right? In the case of Taiwan, it wasn't bombed out, but it was a place for the people who were fleeing the Maoist regime to go, right? And we rewarded them by giving the best tools and the best infrastructure and the best factory know-how we had, so that they could compete in the on the world stage. Mm-hmm. And so and just like we're talking about with Ukraine, part of that agreement was we're going to protect them. These are treaties. These aren't just like idle blowhard kind of statements. No, these are treaties.
But what I don't see going on, I see all these other people talking about. They talk about Ukraine like it's some stepchild or whatever. It's like the adults are arguing about the kid. It's like, why isn't there any conversations directly between Putin and Ukraine? Why are not there direct?
That came up today, by the way. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
So Zelensky said, well, why not have a trilateral summit where it's us, the country you're talking about, Ukraine, United States, and Russia. Let's all talk. Let's all go to the table. I think that's a great idea.
Well, why isn't it happening?
You can't have these bilateral talks without the country involved being at the table.
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck's going on here? Because really, I mean, honestly, is this not? This is all around real estate for a pipeline to feed natural gas to Europe, is it not?
Yeah, because
why don't they just all
the entire economy of Russia is based on that.
Why can't Ukraine participate in some of the profits of the pipeline, and everybody's happy? Russia gets everybody gets something good. Ukraine gets money for doing.
Yeah,
they're not doing dick.
Yeah,
and not only that, but they're going to get employment for their country. Their countrymen will get work building this pipeline. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's good all the way around. There is nothing negative about it. They get their natural gas. Russia gets to
I think you're right. Exactly.
But the thing is, I think there's some big, push or for some big reason or trying to wall off Russia from being able to get money. Now, I know specifically around these accusations that were made about the Pfizer pimp.
Sorry, I'm laughing. The Pfizer pimp.
most of that stuff that was going on over there that had to do with Biden and his son and all those deals that were going on, and that whole thing is around the rights and
it's all small scale though. So you had Hunter over there making a bunch of money.
Wait, hang on a second. What I'm saying is it's all built around that revolution that happened. All the stuff, all the infiltrators that were sent in there, and these provocateurs that started all the nonsense. All of that was around this whole thing. All of that was around. It's the same thing it's the same tree of horror that was around this Hillary Clinton.
Well, I think we have a whole show based around this in a way, because we didn't plan it that way, but the fact that these Ukrainian oligarchs are there, former Soviet oligarchs, right?
Right.
So it's both Russia and the Soviet Union. I mean, they were the same thing for a long time. Mm-hmm. They were the original Spectre Bond villains, right? Forever. They have all this money, all this wealth that they were stealing from the public, back in the days when they could, with their private dolces out there, and partying hardy and just, loving the fact they're ripping off their own people for their own benefit and becoming multi-billionaires, right? Mm-hmm. Billionaires, multi-billionaires with incredible wealth. And the thing is that those billions of dollars, they didn't go anywhere. The billions of dollars are still out there. Now, in some cases, there's sanctions out there that keep those dollars being spent. And what this is about, what's going on in America today, unfortunately, in our political system, and what's going on, Hunter Biden, for example, is an example of someone who just took some money.
He's just a low-level chump, man.
Yeah, he's a low-level chump, right.
Only reason I brought him up is because people got millions of dollars. They made promises, and they're trying to make their deals. They're trying to keep their deals alive.
Right, but we're talking about billions of dollars.
Right, their deals, their little deals go south if Russia could, forge an agreement with Ukraine. That's what I'm saying. What the. When did we stop forging agreements, man, and start immediately pull out your saber,
Yeah. So these oligarchs, man. I mean, as far as they're concerned, they're kings. It's a feudalistic society for them. They feel like I've got these billions of dollars. I can influence anybody I want. I can buy the armies myself. I don't need a national army. I can go hire an army, right? So this is the kind of world they live in. And so the people who have this kind of money, if it's off the world market because it's been, identified as a terrorist organization or whatever, and taken off the world currency stage by the United States or the UN, that money's still there, right? So a lot of everything you see right now, what happened in the last administration, what happened before that, what was going on with Epstein, all that stuff dealt about this money. It's all about this money. It's always about this money. It wasn't about the girls that Epstein was bringing people. It wasn't about the kids that Maxwell was submarining into Epstein's island. It wasn't that at all. It was about influence. It was always about trying to get this money unleashed and given back to the people who had it to begin with. And so the idea is that we have all this money out there that you can bribe senators with and congressmen. If I say, Congressman Jimmy, I'm going to give you $1 billion. Well, you're only a congressman. I'm only going to give you $100 million. And I'm going to give Ted Microcosm $1 billion because he's a senator. Does it start to make sense now what's really going on? Like, it's bribery. It's straight up bribery. Why did all these people just suddenly flip over and quit their oath, man? They quit their oath and gave up the United States. What are they doing? Because they had so much money promised to them by these oligarchs. And these oligarchs are directly, they're stationed in the former Soviet Union and in Ukraine and in Kazakhstan. Well, what's going on right now? Kazakhstan's shooting people in the streets.
Well, we could talk about that some more, man. We brought that up last week, I think. I'm like lost in a morass of not knowing even what day it is anymore. Seriously, I can't remember what day it was we were talking about that. Was it Monday?
That far? Yeah,
it was Monday or something. I don't know. Who knows?
Like Monday, yeah.
Monday seems like a month ago already.
It does, right?
It's like I've been through the ringer this week. You remember those old washing machines, man? They used to have this crank on them, and you would stick the garment in there, and you'd turn this crank, and it would press all the water out of your garment. That was the rinse cycle. I'm like that garment, man. But I've been through the rinse cycle.
That's a good way of putting it. We're in the rinse cycle, man. We're in the rinse cycle.
I'll be happy when
up or down.
I'll be happy when Sunday wake and bake comes, and then I can get back to on schedule. For some reason, I don't know, this week. I don't know, maybe we shifted timelines this week because something happened. Everybody's tired. All of a sudden, just like Clyde said, he lost a day. And it seems like there was a day lost here somewhere. Maybe we shifted a timeline because, the striking down of those mandates really put it a little pinch in the program over here in America yesterday or whatever it was. Yeah, it was yesterday. It's only been 24 hours since they made that decision.
It is.
See
it's
what
funny.
I'm saying?
It seems like forever. No, you're right. And the thing is, like, we see these things happen around us, and we think like, well, it's always been this way, but it hasn't always been this way. It has not always been this way. This is new. This is something new. And humans' ability to adjust to things that happen to them on the fly and adaptive ability that made us survive all these generations and millennia, our ability to adapt that made us the superior life form on all of Earth, right? It keeps us, able to cope, right? This coping mechanism. But the thing is that there are things happening that are just unreal going around us all the time, and it's not just us being an overactive imagination, because that's an excuse that we make as a coping mechanism. No, there's things going on around us, and this thing with the Russia standoff, that's no small thing, man. That is no small thing. That
I'm sorry, how many shows have we done on nuclear destruction? I mean, we've done a few of them, but
I don't think it's nuclear destruction, though. I think they're just going to take it to the limit. Like, okay, you show us yours, we'll show you us ours. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you send your fighters over, we'll show what we can do.
How I learned to love the bomb is becoming more and more relevant every day.
Yeah.
Man. Seriously. Your bodily fluids, that whole fluoride speech.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Tell me, man, drink.
Yeah.
Vodka. That's what they drink, isn't it?
We're getting close to the top of the hour. It's in the microcosms. Friday night fish fry. We see war on the horizon. War. This day will go down in infamy. You know what I'm starting to think, dude? You know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to think I see these world wars, and I see the wreckage and the bombs going off and stuff getting blown up. And I'm thinking, maybe that's what they do right before they run down in the rat hole and everybody gets disintegrated by a blast from the sun. They make it, there's a World War III and everything was destroyed. So that gives you the reason when you come back out of the hole and you rebuild civilization, it gives a reason why it's already there. You know,
the archaeologists that dig up the past, the future, right? Like, well, yeah, they had some kind of war. This must be what it was.
See what
they just wiped each other out.
It's just like we were talking about when, back in the Civil War. It was like the Civil War. There was a reason. It was an excuse for all the wreckage, and these people coming in, no people anywhere. You know what I mean?
We talked about it last night. 33 years later, everybody forgot about it. Just, it's all good. It's all good. We'll just send 30 million people to Chicago to the World's Fair, and it's all happy and good, and nothing ever happened. We don't have any, we don't have any resentment. It's all good.
If this was a TV show, I would do a show right now about San Francisco, and show the pictures of San Francisco, and there's no way that you can even conceive of. I mean, supposedly 1,000. It had a residence of 1,000 people. And you see this city that is like, there's no way 1,000 people built that. No way.
Well, the amount of people that would have been housed by what was there exceeds tens of thousands of people.
It's just literally unbelievable.
But and it's just they're digging out. Well, we conjecture digging out with the donkey carts and stuff. But the fact that
there's
nobody on the streets, man. Just in that picture, it could be a Sunday. People didn't work on Sunday. I allot for that, of course. So there's nobody working because Sunday except the Chinese workers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so you see a couple donkey carts, a couple ships out in the harbor in San Francisco Bay, in a city being with nobody on the streets. Nobody, not a soul.
It's starting to look like liquefaction, dude. Where the whole earth just vibrated all over the place and all these buildings and shit just sank right into the dirt. Because I'm telling you, man, you look at that wreckage from the so-called fire or whatever, it just doesn't make sense. There is no way. I'm just saying, it's literally a pipe dream to think that city was built from the ground up. It's a pipe dream. No way.
Well, I will admit, like for me, I want to think that it's possible. I give mankind more credit and having good architecture and good, building skills and whatnot. But those pictures we saw, the pictures that exist about that time frame, there aren't any people in the streets, man. It's just. And mule carts and hauling dirt off.
And the thing is the giant doors, dude. The thing is like, there was giant people, man. There was giants everywhere. Look at those fucking doors. There's no way little people like us were opening those doors, man. Some of them doors are unbelievable. And you can see there's a couple of there's all kinds of pictures of guys in that time frame. These bigger dudes that were left over, dressed in the same clothes as everybody else, but they're like 7'7".
Choose wisely.
Giant dudes,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, I'm just saying, but the thing that the big missing link though for me is, where did all the people go? Where's all the bones and all this? So something that happened, whatever happened, had to just disintegrate everything, man. For some reason, it disintegrated the people, but not the buildings.
Well, we know even about the commercial break, but the explosion that wiped out the Minoan culture, right, in the island of Thera. Right,
Mm-hmm.
we know for a fact that people think that's Atlantis. That's where the legend came from.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it wiped out the entire Mediterranean. The sea people, we call it sea people, went into Egypt and all this stuff. Supposedly because they were fleeing from that event.
Mm-hmm.
But where is everybody? Like, you have a good point there. Like, where is everybody? There were tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people there, maybe even millions, that are completely unaccounted for.
This is what I'm saying. Where did they go? Where did they go? They had to go somewhere, and those orphans had to come from somewhere. That's what
it's the thing that always bothers me. I come back to that all the time, man.
You see what I'm saying?
What about those orphans, man?
But I'm saying, where did the people go? And then all of a sudden, here they come, and here they are. But there's not that many of them all of a sudden. There's this guy, that guy. All of a sudden there's this big need for orphans signing contracts. That you're tied to your new parents until the age of 21, and everything that you generate as a person, it's almost like indentured servitude for 21 years.
Getting dumped off just like the droids in Star Wars from the exactly like that, man. You haven't seen the movie, Jimmy. You need to see it to get the reference. Yeah, it's exactly it. It's exactly it. This big sand cruiser comes cruising out in the desert and drops off these droids, and people bid on them and just buy them, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying, because they needed labor. But what I'm saying is, where did they come from? And the other thing is that, you can see that you don't need much skill with a shovel and a wheelbarrow. Okay? You don't need that much skill. So all you need is bodies on that with shovels and wheelbarrows to dig shit out, right? You need skilled craftsmen to build the kind of shit that's in San Francisco. It wasn't a bunch of dirty gold miners, riding donkeys that built that. So
looking for a haircut.
Yeah,
right.
It doesn't make sense, man. It makes no sense. But maybe we'll make sense of it when we come back from this break. Mom's Jimmy, it's in the microcosm. That's Epic Journeyman.
For the weekend, stunner from a town in the East End. She says she doesn't know her feelings. Well, girl, just tell me what you're thinking.
It's Aftermath FM. Hey, I want to give a special shout out to Mike Davis. Thanks a lot, brother. We really appreciate the support.
To the edge of this sky, listen to him whisper, he's the king of surprise. Mr. Salty Dick Calm with the good God line, calling out your name, he don't need a reply.
We'll be right back.
Please, Dr. Davis, telephone, please.
It's 10 minutes past curfew.
In other news,
why are you
bizarre
still up?
murders of political and religious leaders that have shocked this city over the
Hello?
last month seem to have ended as suddenly as they began. No
Perhaps you need another shot.
Responsibility for the slayings, but police have a suspect in custody under observation at a state hospital.
Should do it.
His identity is being withheld pending further investigation. Sports and weather now.
Sweet dreams, you bastard.
I remember now. I remember how it started. I can't remember yesterday. I just remember doing what they told me. Told me. Told me. Told me. Extend your life with Extendovite.
After about a month of Extendovite, I don't know what it is about the circulation factor. I was able to increase the weight, increase the amount of sets I could do. It has to do with the oxygen getting to the blood. You should market this as an athletic performance. And I don't change anything about my diet or anything. I just thought, this is amazing. Bilberry extract is got something called resveratrol in it, which is the same stuff that you get from red wine. It's also good for eyesight, and I was reading that the Royal Air Force during World War II would give their pilots bilberry jam so they could have better night vision stuff. This is amazing.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life.
'tis the season. And to celebrate, in the month of December, Ground Zero and Aftermath.fm are offering magnificent deals for listeners. Check it out. For the entire month of December, fans of Ground Zero can get an exclusive membership for only $49 for the year. And that's not all. Premium memberships are only $79 for the year. Need some stocking stuffers? Well, we have something for that too. A premium friends and family plan is just $129 for the year. All memberships include access to all of Ground Zero's archived shows. That's thousands of hours of Ground Zero on demand. You'll have complete access to the document libraries and research groups, and you'll have full participation in a monthly Zoom chat with the man himself, Clyde Lewis. So what are you waiting for? Come on over and take advantage of these great Christmas deals right now. For more information, head on over to aftermath.media right now. Again, that's aftermath.media.
What the hell's going on around here?
So much house of cards and glass, so don't go tossing your stones around. You must have been high. You must have been high. You must have
Monday through Friday. Immediately following Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero, you'll find us.
You must have been so high. Steal, borrow, reverse, take your shady inference. Kangaroo done hung the jury with the innocent. Now your weeping shades of chosen in the gold.
Tool. The Pod. Hi, my name's Jimmy. This is Aftermath FM. It's Into the Microcosm. Welcome into the Microcosm. God damn it. You made it. It's Friday. And Epic Journeyman's here. I'm here. We're low browing it. We're low rolling it, huh? Slow rolling. You got your hat. You got your hat pulled down low.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're thinking about heavy things. So
I know.
I guess it's the lower elevation. You can put it that way.
Mhm.
I would say like some of the things we're talking about. We're talking about testing limits from a geopolitical standpoint. Like I don't think Russia's going to nuke us or use their doomsday tsunami torpedoes. That's a real thing, by the way.
No, I you know, the thing is, that's what I was saying earlier, is this first strike thing that Clinton did, back in the day that everybody forgot about, where he said, hey, we'll take a first strike. Rather than end the world. I mean, America needs to take a whipping, doesn't it? What's better than taking a first strike, huh? They'll give you some time to go rebuild. Do you think everybody be coming over here to help us like we used to spend all this money going around the world helping everybody? Who's gonna help you? Hey, you had a disaster? Don't worry, we'll help you. Hey, we helping everybody. You help you help everybody but yourself, right? Nobody. Look at America now. You've been helping everybody else, but look at the people in America. They need help. Where are they gonna get it? Who's gonna help them? Their government's, like I said, it's a runaway train, man. What can any one of us do about any of it, man? We're just sitting here waiting, for whatever it is going to happen. Oh, the bomb went off. There it goes. Okay. Oh, we got to, we got to go stick our arm out now. You can't buy groceries now, Epic. I mean, it's like, well, when did we have some control over something? You know what I'm saying? When is there any control over any of this? Because, I mean, literally, what can a person do anymore about any of this?
Yeah, I think about that a lot, and I think honestly, the only thing you can do is affect the people, affect AFFECT, affect the people around you. That's all you can do. So, and it's not a unpowerful thing. It's actually a pretty powerful thing, because you never know the one person that has the ability to be a force multiplier and take that out and project that into the realm where it becomes powerful. Just one thing you say, it's the right thing to say at the right time. So it's all about doing that. I mean, it's all about just fighting for what's right. I mean, and by fighting, I don't mean like literally getting out there and fighting. It may be necessary someday, but I mean actually, just saying the right thing instead of not saying the right thing. So when it comes time, you say the way things should be, what's right, and just how your mom when you were a kid would say something like just throw you right out off kilter and just rein you right in, right?
Well, hey,
and that's the kind of thing we need to do. It's just do the right thing and reinforce the right thing.
Well, the thing is, man, is ultimately when the world is not communicating in the way that it is now, the shit that's going on halfway around the world has nothing to do with you and has nothing to do with you and in your world at all. And that's part of the problem is that we've got an addiction to finding out what's going on all over the place. News going on every other place other than where you are at this minute don't mean shit to you. In other words,
a world of voyeurs, right? Like we're that just terrible neighbor Agnes from Bewitched that's always looking out the window.
We're
slits.
already in the metaverse, homie. You don't have to put the goggles on. In other words, the only way this shit means anything is when that bomb goes off over your city. Other than that, we're just being exhausted, and beaten to a pulp. It's like this cat of nine tails of the world just beating the shit out of everybody. And everybody's sore, everybody's about to burst, and the information just keeps coming and coming, and it's never anything good. It's always bad. Nothing good coming out of anything. It's a situation that's out of control. Like that movie Runaway Train with
John Voight, right?
Yeah,
John Voight.
exactly.
Yeah. So actually, I had a video store, so I watched those movies back in the day. Yeah, I think there's 14 people who saw that movie, and I was 13 of them apparently, because I watched it several times. But the thing about it is it's not Gladys. Somebody corrected me. Gladys Kravitz.
Yeah, Gladys.
Yes, that's right. Gladys Kravitz and Bewitched. Not. I said it wrong. The Snoopy neighbor, right? So we have this voyeuristic society that gets off on watching people's endeavors, whether they go good or bad, just to enjoy the entertainment aspect of it in a way, like to meddle into the people's stuff, right? And I think that in a way that's our doom scroll, if you will, that's going to lead us to our destruction, because if you're not paying attention to what you're doing and paying attention to what everybody else is doing, you're not doing anything for yourself and making the world a better place for you or anybody else, right? And so this is a virus in a way that's perpetrated our social structure. It's the thing that is killing us, and we don't recognize it as killing us, right? But it is. Like this is the very thing. This kind of voyeuristic aspect of walking away from our responsibilities and the things we can actually affect to entertain ourselves by the plight of others or what they do, right? Reality TV, if you will, but on a grand scale. And the thing is that there really is a potential war in Russia, right? There really is. And we're not going to pay attention to it because we're too caught up in the sensation of seeing what the interpersonal reactions are between people involved in it. Like it could be broadcast on some channel somewhere on some late night show on access cable, and people will watch that rather than take up their own responsibility to do something about it. And that's horrifying that we're actually in this place.
Well, hang on. Hey, Penelope wants to come in, and she's got some ideas about what might or might not happen. So Penelope, when you hear us, Penelope, you just call back, and I'll try to add you. I didn't expect you to call. I'm in my hand on the mouse. So go ahead and give us a call back, and we will open up the phones a little bit later to talk about some of this stuff. So it is a precarious situation we find ourselves in. I mean, we were talking about it last night. They are whipping up the Civil War aspect of everything. We don't know who our enemy is. Russia's our enemy. China's our enemy. North Korea is our enemy. Who else? Iran. We got all these enemies.
Each other, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got all these enemies about to, now we've got domestic terrorists we have to worry about. It wasn't bad enough. We had to worry about, missiles fly. The birds are in the air. The missiles are flying. That wasn't bad enough. Now we got to worry about domestic terrorists and, hammer gangs, Hey, honey, I'm just going to head on down and grab myself a new pair of jeans. All of a sudden you're in the store, you find yourself in a situation, So, I don't know, man. The phone's not ringing, so I guess Penelope...
Well, I think that what's interesting about this is that we're in a state where very real consequences are at play. Very real. Right, and people are so numbed by the on reality, what they see reported in news and whatnot, right? That they don't believe it. They don't believe it. Well, no, this is
hang
real.
on. She's calling. Hang on, my mouse. I got it. I think I got her. All right, let's see. Let's see if she comes in there. All right, there she is, Penelope Decker. What's going on?
Yep. As Penelope. Can you hear me okay, though?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, because I'm on my iPad.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you, Jimmy, and you're kind of down. You sound like all this information they've been throwing at us, hand over fist, it's a lot. They throw it at us like that on purpose. And, yeah, that little video that I sent you, it kind of tells how it's
I didn't see the video. I'm in the middle of doing something, so I'm definitely not watching videos.
Yeah, well, it's audio, video, but, so... It's an operation. They're trying to, get us so overwhelmed that we're living in an upside-down world. We don't know right is left and left is right, up and down, all that.
Hey, Epic, man, you didn't know this was an operation?
Well, yeah.
Come on.
I played that game all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
The rubber band one's the hardest one,
But what's amazing is in the last, with this mass formation psychosis, it's kind of a trip that they're talking about it.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for 2 years.
Talk about that some more, because what do you think about that term?
I think it's a way for people to put 3 words together so they can remember it, because you're saying mass formation and psychosis, and we can remember psychosis because we've been going through a lot of stuff lately, so we know psychologically there's something going on. I seriously see all of this whole Joe Rogan podcast with Malone. I see them all as playing us. I see them as gaslighters.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's their way to get it out there in a way that people will start to listen. It's just two people that have pretty good followings, and now they're throwing in the Peak 22 guy too, and that was the little video I sent, and it's like they're suddenly talking about some topics and they're getting people's attention. And there are some people that are able to put the pieces together to where they're thinking maybe there is something to this. So now what? Are we following along with what's going on, or are we just going to say, yeah, they're playing an operation just like
They like the word. They like the term though. So like check this out. So when I listened to that, it's absolute God's honest truth. I caught that in midway through. Like, so in other words, I didn't see the Joe Rogan interview from the beginning. I caught it because it came up in my feed, from different other things, and so I caught it at that pivotal point, right, where he's just talking. And so I'm doing other things, and I'm listening to it. I'm listening to Dr. Malone there, and I'm listening to him like, wow, man, wow, he's really talking about Trumpism really well. I mean, that's a perfect description of Trumpism. I can't believe this guy's doing this so well, right? And then I realized he's talking about the vaccines, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. So I had to go back and rewind it, right? I had to go back and rewind, such a primitive term because it's not rewind anymore, right, in the digital world. But I had to go back and reboot it from a certain point, and I watched it again, and I'm like, God damn it, that asshole, man, because that works for frickin' anything you want it to. Yeah. Anything you want it to. It doesn't matter what it is. It's nothing. I won't call it a scam.
It's like a bullshit psychic telling you a bunch of shit that matches up with anybody's life. I see you've got some obstacles.
You had someone named Tom in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, but the thing is that, this nuclear threat or whatever, I wouldn't even really talk about it, except for there was a full stop on Monday in Hawaii, and also down in Southern California, which is, and so it's a little bit funny because we talked about it last night and said, hey, it's like when they said Building 7 had come down and it hadn't come down yet. It's like maybe what happened the other day was somebody effed up and didn't do something when they were supposed to do it, or they didn't it just didn't, something happened and we just got in the mix. But I mean, the thing is that for a very long time people thought that when a nuke goes off that you're gonna die, that everybody's going to die. It's going to be nothing but nuclear waste, and people are just going to be, all, messed up. But, I mean, that's really not the case, necessarily, depending on, what kind of a delivery system and what kind of thing actually goes off. But if you're in the blast zone or in the immediate vicinity, I mean, you're probably going to get toasted. But, I mean, outside of that, if a nuke goes off in America, most of America is not really going to have an effect of it. It's only going to affect where that bomb goes off. Now, I'm just saying, there's a place, called Detroit. If a bomb went off there, I mean, would anybody really be all torn up about it? I doubt it.
People from Detroit would be.
Yeah, for a minute. But then, they might have been off into the next.
It certainly could affect our supply chain and all of that for quite some time. I would think more of a dirty bomb than I would a nuke.
Yeah, you'd need a cobalt dirty bomb for that to really have any kind of really, harmful, terrible
I was thinking
effect.
about that before the show today.
Wait a second.
Sorry.
What are they looking for? Are they looking for harmful, or are they looking for psychosis? Because that's really basically all they need to tip a lot of these people over the edge now.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you're right. Yeah. You're right in that respect, because I think they don't need as much death and destruction as they need fear. So, I mean, the dirty bomb.
Exactly.
Not having so much of a deadly ramification to it might be a better way to go, just for the fear aspect of it.
So in 2019, there was an op-ed that was written by James Comey, and I've been waiting on this shit to happen, because that man, he likes to put things out there and make you think what the hell was that about. So he says, America's has long had a radioactive racist soup in the center of our national life. Donald Trump thinks he is stirring it for political benefit. He's actually doing something more dangerous. For much of our history, the soup was deadly and, I need my glasses on, uncontained spewing radiation that led to the enslavement, terrorization, murder, and oppression of African Americans. 100 years ago this summer, it erupted on the streets of Washington, leaving dozens dead. The president of Howard University narrowly escaped being lynched, the murders, and then he goes on with other words like threatens, and he says African Americans again, and he says imagination, he says dangerous radiation, contaminant buildings, statutory crime. He just mentions all kinds of crazy stuff in this op-ed from April 4th, 2019 in the Washington Post. And it's so weird when you read through it, and it's like a threat. I think it's like a threat. And so what? They're going to build us up to make us believe that we're going to get hit by something. You know, what do they call it? A fake Freddy and stuff.
False.
And push us on into the rest of the game plan so that we'll get in line. Because us older people, we know better, right? It's the younger people that'll be begging for the chip if it means they can have their internet and their food, whatnot. You know, it's us that think we.
It always comes back to that, though, doesn't it? Like that. That is the thing. It always comes back to that. Like it really does. This. Okay, so let's look at this unbiased for a second. I mean, unbiased by religion, unbiased by anything.
Cognitive anchor.
Just look at it for a moment. Like the most incredible, call it a psyop, it really is, ever perpetrated on mankind that has stuck in our consciousness. It's the idea of the mark of the beast. It's absolutely there. It permeates everything. Right? And so because it's there, it's like a bright star in the sky that when you're lost for a moment in your own cognitive bias, you always look to it. When you're lost for a moment in your cognitive dissonance, you always look to it. When you don't know anything else to go to, you always look to it because it's the brightest star in the sky, and it's been that way for literally 2,000 years, if not more. So I think it's an interesting thing because I personally actually believe in it, but at the same time, I question myself. Like, do I believe in it because I was taught that way from the time I was practically born, or do I believe in it because there's evidence for it? And so much of it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, so much of it is, right? Because it is the brightest light in the sky in that sense.
So
it's a thing.
When you're saying it, you mean religion?
No, I say the mark of the beast.
Mark of the beast.
Yeah.
So you're just saying the difference between good and evil.
Well, no, that this prophecy that it's elusive to everyone, right? Somewhat. I mean, it has questionable definition, right? But so it allows you to, because it allows you to put your own interpretation on it. It makes it accessible to everyone, and because it's accessible to everyone through their own interpretation, the agreement reality that me and Jimmy talk about, and so much we talk about all the time, becomes that much more important because now you agree on this one thing. And so once it becomes an agreement reality, it doesn't matter if it's necessarily true or not. It
doesn't matter at all
because you just agree on it, right? And then it is reality. At a certain point, it is. And so I think that it's something that is being shown in political circles right now. Like what Cambridge Analytica did has far-reaching effects. And that's Steve Bannon, man. People need to understand who that is, who he is, right?
Who Steve Bannon is?
Yeah. People need to know who he is, man. They didn't know what he did. And, and there's a lot of evidence to show, actually, this is a weird one. I'll throw it out there in the middle of the night on a Friday night, that JFK wasn't the target, actually. It was Governor Connolly because of his tie-up. He was the mentor, the executive of the state for the Bass brothers, who actually financed Steve Bannon, who actually did Biosphere 2 and went on to do all these other things with Steve Bannon. So there's a lot there, actually.
Well, it's also interesting that Steve Mnuchin was also a producer besides being in the Federal Reserve. That's interesting.
Right.
So there's a lot of things going on still in the background of who was who and where they are now that, it opens up a whole can of worms.
Well,
but for them to be...
listen, stick around and we'll open up that can of worms because we're at the bottom of the hour and I got some business I got to take care of here. Mom's Jimmy. That's Penelope. You can find her here on Aftermath FM. When's your show on? Because I catch it in replay, so I never know when it's live.
Yeah, no, it's Thursdays. Thursdays at well, for me it's 5 Central, but there it would be 3.
3 Pacific,
Eastern.
5 Central.
Yeah.
And you know, you can find her here, ladies and gentlemen, Aftermath FM. It's in the microcosm. It's the middle of the night. It's Santa Cruz Mountains, and we'll be right back. It's Aftermath FM.
Tangled dreams and endless howlings. Bang the drum in a foreign land. Sometimes I wonder what I'm chasing, when all I need is a touch of your hand. I got
Round 2 with Clyde Lewis. Live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific. But what happens when you miss an episode? Aftermath.fm is the official free streaming network of Ground Zero, featuring some of the top voices in paranormal and parapolitical radio and podcasts, such as The Leo Zagami Show, Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable, The Kev Baker Show, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray Valentine, and much, much more. What are you waiting for? Head on over to Aftermath.fm right now and get complete on-demand access to the Ground Zero archives, as well as the works of a dozen other hosts. Sign up right now and get complete access to our study groups, videos, and document archives, and connect with other listeners on our private social media network. Aftermath.fm, home of quality counterculture talk radio. Aftermath.fm.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When your doctor tells you you have bad cholesterol or blockages in the arteries, what do? When diet and exercise is not enough, we try medications and hope for the best. For the last 2 decades, I have been telling people about a natural method to help solve these problems and more. Extendovite can help maintain cardiovascular health and lower blood lipid levels in adults. The 7 herbs in Extendovite are known to work together synergistically to get the results we hope for. There are many testimonials on Extendovite's effect on circulatory-related ailments. Get Extendovite today to start your journey back to a healthier life. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or see us on Amazon.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
the walls you build up, stone by stone. The fields divided one by one, and the train conductor says, "Take a break, driver, take a break. We've been on this ship too long." And the train conductor says, "Take a break, driver, take a break. We can reach our destination."
Monday through Friday, 10:30 Pacific, right here. You'll find us. It's crazy out here, man. I'll tell you that. Anyways, Monday through Friday, you'll find us. And Penelope Nisha's here. Epic Journeyman's here. I'm here. You're here. 626-999-4761. Give us a call. 626-999-4761. So you don't feel like you're on a runaway train? I do. I feel like I'm on a runaway train, but I know the minute that I flick off the power on my computer and I turn off my phone and I turn off my TV and I don't read the newspaper and I don't look at a magazine, it's crickets. There's nothing going on out here, man, except the raccoons are trying to decide which trash can to climb into tonight. Maybe a skunk might come by. But I mean...
The elders of the mammal world deciding our fate. The raccoons and the skunks sit around the fire, discuss how they'll divvy out the divine will upon us.
Well, I mean, you know, the thing is like we were talking about it last night. I mean, we're being socially engineered down a path, you know, and it's been going on for a bit. So, you know, we're at the tail end of a generation, and we're at the beginning part of a new generation of slaves. You know, hail to the new generation of slaves, ladies and gentlemen, because they have no problem moving into the future without any privacy and without, you know, just, you know, go with your phone, whatever, be able to go to a concert, whatever, just boop, you're out. That's it. Nobody cares. Young people, they've been growing up with being frisked at the airport since 2001. So you got a whole group of 20-year-olds right now with a blank stare on their face. They got the 1,000-yard stare. That's because they've been staring at screens for the last 15 of their 20 years. Because
I gotta say, my alternative band should be called Blank Stare. Absolutely, isn't that a great name?
Yeah, I like it.
Well, you're welcome to it if you would like it. There it is. So what do you think about that, Penelope? Now, I mean, it's just, you know, if you were a 20-year-old and you'd been subjected to first 9/11 and then subsequently all these measures and Patriot Acts and all this stuff, these wars and all this, by the time, and now you're 20 something years old and they're telling you your job's not going to be there because robots are going to be there.
Right. Yeah, I think it is a path. It's a path that they've been leading us on, and how they brought the parents of the 20-year-olds into get in line was by visuals mostly, you know, and then for the betterment of patriotism, our country, whatever you want to call it. And I think the visual of seeing the second plane hit the second tower like it did, that visual was enough for us to sit there and go, whoa. And then I know those 20-year-olds watch their parents stare at a television 24 hours, 7 days a week, news hour for a long time, to the point to where then they started doing things, you know, where they were like, yeah, I should get my kid vaccinated. I should make sure they're going to school. I should follow the laws, follow the rules, get in line.
Well, imagine the terror and the horror when that dirty bomb goes off and there's people going, and they're all running and they're just going to be playing it over and over again, man. The dude, the guy whose face is melting off and all the, you know, blood, you know, dude hobbling down the street on one nub, you know,
I heard
scraping.
There was a sniffer above Washington today. Did you guys hear any of that?
No.
Yeah, sniffer flying above Washington. But yeah, no, I think they started with this even with the supposed spaceship that blew up with the school teacher in it, you know? They started even then giving us visuals of shit can go down.
Check this out. I have a scar. If you ever meet me, you're gonna meet you never see me, but you're gonna know because of my scar. I have a scar right in the cleft of my elbow, on the inside cleft of my elbow. It's like a 3-inch scar because I was working the crypto vault of the U.S. Navy, where they have the cards that actually submarines, ships, everything in the nuclear codes, everything are there, and so it's just they're punch cards, and so I'm on top of the 14th rack of these angle iron, just primitive angle iron, stupid racks that hold these stupid punch cards, trying to drill through to make vibration sensors. So if somebody tries to drill in, you know, the alarms go off, and it's such thick concrete that I can't get through it. It's ridiculous, and somehow we're listening to radio inside there, and what happens is that we hear about that shot, the actual the Challenger, right, where it's going up and it's got school teacher on and all that stuff, and it happens where it blows up. They get distracted enough to turn around, and I'm at the very top rack up there. Very top rack. It's about 40 feet off the ground. It's way up there. I had to take a forklift. OSHA's not involved here. It's on Navy base, right? I'm way up there. Lifts me up there, and I'm like, what? You know? And I turn around, and this angle iron rips the hell out of my arm. Like this gouges me right when that thing blew up. So I go to, it's on 32nd Street Naval Base in San Diego, Crypto Vault.
See, this
and so I go to the I guess you call it the medic, but it's not medic, whatever you call it, on the base. It stitched me up, right?
So now I forgot completely.
They don't do a very good
about.
job. So I got this gnarly scar. Like you know how like in comic book characters you have like the scar to identify somebody, or in these movies or whatever. I got this gnarly scar on the inside of my between my elbow and the forearm, right, inside of my arm, from that day, specifically that day.
Well, do you have any scars from the day that the astronaut drove across the United States in diapers so she could kill her?
I do actually. I don't have a scar. I have a mental scar.
I
Yes,
have a
yes.
scar for that too. So thank you for bringing it back up. My God. Yeah. I
Oh
don't know
man,
if I'll
and you
ever-
know what? I'll tell you what, man.
Scar.
If you like conspiracy candy, I'll tell you what, man. You can go find all of those astronauts that supposedly died in that thing. They're all still alive. They all still work there. You know, there's pictures of them. You can go see it for yourselves. You know, if you dare. You know, but
Yeah, but back to the 20-year-olds,
Mhm.
yeah, you're right. They'll be the first to get in line. But the sad part is, aren't they supposed to be the ones that are fighting for our country too?
well, I don't know, because I mean, the thing is there a country? You know, are there borders in the New World Order? Because I mean,
Did
it's
you say borders or order?
borders in the New World Order. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think if I'm a 20-year-old and I'm getting my $2,200 and a month, then I can go
Yeah.
live in my little tube,
Uh-huh.
you know, for $500 a month, or in Thailand. You know, I'm probably gonna go there. You know, everybody's gonna get universal income, right? So they can.
Mhm.
You know, see, that's what jammed the program up. When Obama was in office, they were trying to get this climate thing put through, because what they wanted to be able to do, the reason there's countries is because they have to tax people. So when
Mhm.
you're in that country, you're a citizen of it. They can extrapolate your ass in derivatives over the tax life of your life. So, you know, if you work 60 years, you make X amount of dollars, they take 30% out of your hide, you know, for that amount of years, and that's worth X amount of dollars, and they take that and they group it in with a bunch of other people from that generation, and they get loans against it, this type of thing. So so they have to be able to do that somehow, and so they have to have borders, but to be able to do it without borders, they needed a way to tax people, and that we're going to do it with the carbon taxes. And so when that thing fell apart, that climate talk in Davos fell apart, China walked away, the whole thing fell apart. Obama's whole administration almost fell apart because he had planned on getting all these people jobs, doing all these things to all around this energy, this new push on energy. And so that whole thing, when that Davos thing fell apart, the high to decline thing came out, and the Davos thing fell apart. China walked away. Then Obama's employment record wasn't very good. He had, you know, when he came in, you know, he had unemployment for quite a while there. But anyways, I don't know how I got off into the weeds on that.
Yeah.
But
Well, Biden's Secretary of Homeland Security, he doesn't believe in borders at all. So I don't think he's going to have that problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, so they remember they had there was all these ghost cities all over the place. These ghost cities, and there was all this conspiracy theories about it, what they were. There was, you know, that, you know, people were going to live there when this happened and that happened.
Well. Before we go on with that, let's extrapolate a little bit and elaborate, because those ghost cities can house hundreds of thousands of people per, like 250,000 people per. and there's nobody in them, or was nobody in them when it happened. So these are real things. These are very real things.
Mm-hmm.
So
they
did that groundwork.
So the thing is, the way it used to work, the way it used to work was you built a road, and then a town would pop up on the road. Okay, that used to be the old way of doing it. But the way that the Chinese did it is they did it before the road, because they knew the new Belt and Road, Silk Road, that's their big thing, was gonna come in. So they built these cities ahead of the road because they knew the dudes working the roads were gonna need places to live and buy food. So these guys working the roads, they were all gonna be on phones. See, that's why they needed to have this worldwide satellite network that could transmit. So all these guys in the third world are going to be on phones making money, and that's gonna bring all these new people online with money in their hand. So this was the promise of the new world, was this new Silk Road, Belt and Road project China, the BRICS were putting together, and that this was going to lift up the third world by allowing them to have money and jobs that weren't there before building this road. So it seemed to have all fallen apart, and United States never was, they were asked 3 times to come in and be a financial partner in the new Belt and Road project, and they said no. Trump said no. It's interesting, it's an interesting thing, but like I said, there's a reason why they say politics is a rich man's game, because normal, regular people, they don't have time to sit around thinking about any of this shit. They just go to work and come home, and the years go by, and next thing they know, they're shivering because they think the war is going to start, and they're taking their 5-year-old down to get an injectable.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not so sure that Trump said no, because when he announced about the USMCA, I can't tell you. That was like, I think, besides it just being an extension of Northern Union or North Union, America, I felt like he sold us out when he was willing to do that. He said a lot of people aren't going to understand it, but it's the best thing for America right now. This is what it's going to happen, so everybody will have to just get used to the idea. And it took them 18 months before they really started pushing stuff through.
Mm-hmm.
It was even right before he left, actually. So I'm not even quite sure how far into it everybody kept their end of the deal. Either way, though, they made the agreements between 2 socialist countries, and we're sandwiched between them. What does that really mean for us?
Well, it means there's a giant highway. It's funny because we just talked about this.
There's a giant highway. This is a real thing.
Well, no, you guys freaked me out earlier. We're in synchronicity because earlier, I promise you, about 4 hours ago, we were talking about the giants, and I probably have about 40 images, so I dropped some in the aftermath. Discord if anybody wants to go look at them.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I got my machine won't let me in that chat room. It won't let me in there. So
yeah, it argues with me sometimes too. But go on, tell me.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to point out like the amount of interaction between Trump and Clinton, right, and Epstein in the Maxwell family.
Yeah, but we're talking about the North American Union, dude.
Yeah, no. I know what we're talking about, but I'm saying they're absolutely related. They're absolutely 100% related, and so what the thing is that once that it became a concept that you could have this zone that where the euro would be the currency, which is never really going to happen, but that concept was going to happen, right? Well, what is that? What is that? And how would it be there?
Well, it's just because that was like back in the day, that was like one of the main dressings on any conspiracy table was this North American Union and the Amero, and then it just went away. But it never really went away. And I think you can see there's a big port down in Mexico. And China invested heavily in that port, and then that road goes right from that port all the way up to Canada. And so
straight through America, straight through Texas, through everywhere.
Yeah. And then, so the idea was that they were going to just not have exits anywhere, and they would starve out those old towns, and people would have to move more into the concentrated areas closer to wherever it was, the cities.
Yeah, so where it comes into how Epstein and all these people were involved, it's not Epstein, it was Khashoggi, Adnan Khashoggi before that, what was this influencing scheme where they would just buy out the people who would be in the way, they'd be the adversaries of that happening, right through their own sexual addiction or whatever it might be.
Man, they could just eminent domain
yeah.
that shit and get your ass right out of the way. But, the point is, though, if you look at our current political situation, Peloponnnesia, if you look at the landscape, you can see that the individual states are starting to develop their own personalities around this current pandemic. And so, you're also seeing truckers being hassled about having proof and this and that, and different states having rules. I think what you're going to see is people moving to the state that appeals to their sensibilities as far as what they want to do with their lives. So if you're somebody that's paranoid about something and you think you want to move to a state where everybody wears masks and everybody has to be vaccinated, or you can move to a state where they don't wear masks, that kind of thing. And so maybe the balkanization of the United States is exactly what's going to happen around this current pandemic. What do you think about that?
Well, I see I see the migration, but I see it because of what has been moving from the southern border to into America, or up to the United States. If you know anything about the remote viewers and how they visualize the United States or America, and it was split. And I do believe that our country will be split in our hearts and visually, landscape-wise, everything, so they can build up homes, apartment complexes, and all of that on the West Coast. I really see it being destructed before it gets built back up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it ties right in because, that highway we're talking about is almost in the middle of the United States. So it's almost cuts the United States right
Just
now.
straight through, yeah.
Doesn't it? I mean, it's almost like, and these same people are the ones that have been buying, these European companies been buying up the toll roads in America. It's the same company that's building that road.
Right. Well, with the severe weather that they had, natural disasters in Canada, to me that looked just like the fires they had in California where the train is supposed to go, the rail train, whatever, the bullet train or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that Canada had the same type of ordeal they were going to set up, and it just seemed awfully convenient that it was railways and bridges that fell.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you guys heard about these Amazon trains that have been getting ripped off.
Oh, gosh.
There's a song in there somewhere.
Did you?
Amazon trains. Yeah,
in Chicago and Los Angeles? Yeah. Unbelievable. Well, Chicago was televisions. It wasn't televisions.
It's just crazy, man. The thing is, man, I was down in Los Angeles when the Rodney King riots happened, and me and a bunch of dudes went up into Hollywood, and these guys were from the Valley. They weren't even from Hollywood. I mean, you know what I mean? But they were actors or whatever. I mean, but the point is that going up into Hollywood, and it was literally people were just fucking throwing Molotov cocktails. Shit was on fire. People were running down the street. People were coming out of Macy's with these giant racks of clothes running down the street. And I was sitting there, and I looked over it, and it was like one of these electronic stores. And these dudes had broken the window out, and all these people were just running with these giant TVs, And every time I think about like some sort of end of the world scenario, I think to myself, that's exactly what people will be doing. The world's going to be about to end, and people are going to be robbing TVs and shit and running back to their house with it.
But you know what? Those are paid actors. This is Ferguson all over again. We saw them do this in Africa right before shit at the fan for them.
There was no paid actors where I was.
Yeah. No, what? No, these trains that are getting robbed.
Oh, the trains, yeah.
And they're taking the televisions and they're throwing them off of it as the train's moving down. That's in Chicago. In Los Angeles, it's all those Amazon packages and That's just crazy as
Dude,
far as the eye could see.
Let me ask you a question, Evan.
I just want
Did
to say,
we not just say like a couple 3 months ago?
Months, 3 months, exactly. What I was going to bring up.
Talking
Exactly
about
right.
train robberies. Like maybe it's gonna go old school, you know.
That's exactly what we were talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't even living in the place I'm living in now. It was longer than that ago. Yeah.
People are going to be bored. They're not going to be working. They're going to be hungry. They're stressed out about money or bills, whatever. And they're going to start, it's going to be purge. It'll be, demolition man all over again. It's going to be crazy.
It's like that. There's this psychology around when there's a disaster, and it says that after 72 hours is when the normal person will start contemplating just doing something they wouldn't normally do. So that means stealing or whatever it is, killing somebody, whatever it is. They start after 72 hours. They decide that they're just gonna go lawless. And then that's when the shit hits the fan.
So I thought about that actually, and I was thinking about it in the context of if you were doing imagine there's stages of this, so you don't automatically go to just the far outside we're talking about, but you go through a stage of imagining in your own mind where no, it's okay, it's all good, it's a coping mechanism, it's all good, we're not really going through this, and I'll just write it out, and I'll ignore all the atrocities, and I'll ignore all the bad things, and I'll come out the other side, I'll be fine. And then at some point that hourglass flipped over, runs out of sand, and you go, oh man, dude, no, that's wrong. I just got to go get mine right now and steal that 52-inch plasma TV or whatever it is, right? So where I mean, are we in a stage like that? Like, how would you know you're in the stage before the stage? That's my point.
Aftermath FM. Be right back.
After about a month of Extendivite, I don't know what it is about the circulation factor, I was able to increase the weight, increase the amount of sets I could do. It has to do with the oxygen getting to the blood. You should market this as an athletic performance. And I don't change anything about my diet or anything. I just thought, this is amazing. Bilberry extract is got something called resveratrol in it, which is the same stuff that you get from red wine. It's also good for eyesight, and I was reading that the Royal Air Force during World War II would give their pilots bilberry jam so they could have better night vision stuff. This is amazing.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Round Zero with Clyde Lewis. Live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific. But what happens when you miss an episode? Aftermath.fm is the official free streaming network of Ground Zero, featuring some of the top voices in paranormal and parapolitical radio and podcasts, such as The Leo Zagami Show, Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable, The Kev Baker Show, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray Valentine, and much, much more. What are you waiting for? Head on over to aftermath.fm right now and get complete on-demand access to the Ground Zero archives, as well as the works of a dozen other hosts. Sign up right now and get complete access to our study groups, videos, and document archives, and connect with other listeners on our private social media network. Aftermath.fm, home of quality counterculture talk radio. Aftermath.fm.
It's midnight on the West Coast.
From the balcony.
My name's Jimmy. It's Into the Microcosm. We're here with Penelope Nisha, an epic journeyman. 626-999-4761 if you want to call. I forgot to keep giving you the number. 626-999-4761. 626-999-4761. Drink from the water, Mako Road. Aftermath FM in stereo.
Brother, just listen and drink from the water now. Sister, just listen and drink from the water now. On the water, darkness looms.
So we were talking about the nukes and the nuclear bombs going off earlier, and so I had this piece that I was gonna run from a good website. I'll recommend this guy. Go check him out. It's a site called Tin Hat Ranch. Tin Hat Ranch. So let's take a quick listen to some of this, and then I want to ask a couple of questions to Penelope Nisha, because I noticed a particular aspect of some social engineering that needs a woman's perspective. Alright, so there we go. It's Into the Microcosm. It's Saturday morning, and welcome, and appreciate having you here. Got a full chat room over here. There's like 37 people over here Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, Strike Zone, because we're hiding in the Strike Zone. We can go back to the main channel now, but we're just staying over here for now. So anyhow, if you want to join us over there, there we are. And Penelope Nisha seems to be in the other chat room, so you can talk to her there. So I noticed something today, because last night we were talking about a little bit about social engineering, and we were talking about commercials and different aspects of it, and you know, the high repetition and the psychic driving that goes on with commercials and this and that. But today, in retrospect, I was sitting around thinking about the conversation we had yesterday, and I noticed that there was a distinct change in the programming of women and the social engineering, because back in the Leave It to Beaver days, moms were submissive. They did the bidding of the husband. But then there was a distinct change, 180 degrees, to where now the female figures are shown to be dominant rather than submissive. So what do you think about that? Because, I mean, obviously you're a woman, so did you see a distinct difference in the way that women are portrayed from one to the other? And which one would you consider to be better? Or do you think there's a combination of the two that makes somebody? I'm not real sure, because I know this is, you know, everything to do with getting women out in the workforce so they could tax them. get another tax mechanism. But what do you think about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I have noticed in the past, I'd say 8 to 12 months, there has been a huge social change in women because they were locked up with the wrong motherfucker for the last year during COVID. And so when they got out, they got tighter dresses, they got shorter dresses, higher heels, they got their hair done finally.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got that going on. You can't deny that. That's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, there were women that were pretty much told they needed to go to school. They needed to go to college. They needed to get an education, or they were going to end up being someplace they probably didn't want to be working. So it was that, or go find them money, which was a ball player or a rap star, something like that.
Well, and then the other thing is, you better go to college and you better make some money. Otherwise, you'll end up like Leave It to Beaver. You'll have to be Ward's.
Yeah, there's that.
You'll have to be Ward's wife for the rest of your life.
Hey, by the way, why is his name Ward?
I don't know why.
I mean, no. Think about it. Ward, like Ward of the State, Warden, Ward. Yeah.
I don't know. Why is his name Beaver?
Well, that's a whole other thing.
I mean, if you're going to get into the symbolism, I mean, the beaver has deep roots, you might say.
What about Eddie Haskell?
As a child of the 70s and 80s, nothing struck fear into my soul more than these two sounds. I was terrified at what would happen in the event of a nuclear bomb. Hi, Liberty's Teeth here, and welcome to the Tin Hat Ranch channel. In this series, I hope to arm you with the necessary knowledge to survive a nuclear event.
This is where he's doing a cool intro with a bunch of firearms. He's running through the snow. He's surviving. He's got some music playing. I get this must be whatever that shit's called, that music that you can get for free. Alright, hold on. Here he comes.
How many Americans would know what to do when the intense flash of an exploding nuclear weapon lit up the sky? How many would needlessly perish for lack of knowledge? Would you know what to do? To avoid an untimely end in a nuclear scenario, you are going to have to do three things. Avoid the blast, avoid the heat, and avoid the radiation. The purpose of this series is to give you a fighting chance in doing just that. Through a little bit of knowledge and a little preparation, you can live through this scenario, and with a little bit of luck, you can come through unscathed. The first minutes of a nuclear event are going to give you the information necessary to make decisions that can greatly increase your chances of survival. You are going to have to train yourself to think and react if you ever see the flash. If you train yourself to think and react, you are going to be able to make a very educated guess as to the distance from the ground zero, the size of the bomb, the origin of the bomb. Yes, I did say the origin of the bomb.
Alright. Do I have your attention? Now, I'm going to tell you, I'll play a few minutes of this, and give everybody the information they need. Seriously, this stuff is like gold, man. Seriously, even if you don't think a bomb's going to go off, if someday it does, you're going to know what to do. I'm telling you right now. This shit's good, man. Here. And then when we get done with this, I got something else here. I got Aldous Huxley. I want him interviewed back by Mike Wallace in 1950. I'm going to play a couple chunks for everybody. Here at the middle of the night, Aftermath FM. Penelope Nicia's here every Thursday. You can find her 3 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Central, and she'll be here in a second. So let's finish here with Tin Hat Ranch.
And the probability as to whether this is a single event or you can expect more. When the flash happens, you will know what is going on. I believe most of us will just instinctively know what type of event has just taken place. If you ever see a flash that is so bright it drowns out the daytime sun, know that you are instantly going to have to do two things. Head for cover and start counting. Or look at your watch. Don't look in the general direction of the flash. It will temporarily blind you and may permanently blind you as well. If you are home, head for the basement. If you don't have a basement, head for an interior room, a hallway, or a bathroom, but stay away from glass. Treat it almost like an impending hurricane or tornado. Now, I told you to look at the second hand of your watch or start counting. Here is the reason. You're going to have to note how long the intense flash lasts. This is probably going to give you more information than anything you are going to hear on the radio afterwards if it still works. Here's why. The length of the intense flash will give you an approximate yield of the bomb. For instance, if the flash is brief, say a few seconds, the bomb will have had a small yield. A flash of 1 to 3 seconds would indicate that the bomb was 20 kilotons or less, or about the size of the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. If the flash is closer to 7 to 10 seconds, the yield is about 250 kilotons, or the size of a Russian MIRV warhead. If the flash lasts 20 seconds, we are now in the megaton range. 30 seconds, we are in the multi-megaton range, and I wouldn't expect it to last more than 45 seconds. Why in the hell would you want to know the yield of the bomb? It's simple. Knowing the yield of the bomb is going to give you the information necessary to plan your survival. It will allow you to make a very educated guess on the origin of the bomb and the likelihood of another bomb, information on the fallout, and will affect your decision on whether you need to dig in or evacuate. We'll talk about this more later. But what do I mean? If the bomb is smaller, a 1 to 3 second flash, you can garner that the bomb originated as either a terrorist nuke or maybe a North Korean or Iranian ICBM. As of 2013, they don't have the technology to make a bigger bomb. In fact, the North Koreans probably don't have a delivery vehicle that can reach all of the continental United States, and the Iranians don't even have a bomb. The Russians probably wouldn't send a bomb that small over anyway. You can deduce that the likelihood of another bomb exploding might be very low, and that this is a single event. Now, if the flash was around 10 seconds, you can almost guess that the bomb originated from a Russian submarine-launched ballistic missile or an ICBM. My best guess is that if you see a flash that lasts around 10 seconds, you are going to see multiple bombs exploding in your area. The thought behind this is that the Russian SLBMs and ICBMs carry what are called MIRVs, or multiple independent reentry vehicles, or multiple nuclear bombs, to make it simple. If the flash is 20 to 45 seconds, I'd suspect the Chinese, as their ICBMs carry single or MIRV warheads in the multi-megaton range. While these are at best educated guesses, they are good ones. Knowing this information will affect what you do and how you react. We'll go into much more detail in this on the Surviving Nuclear Decisions video. Also, knowing the yield of the bomb is going to help in your decision on how to react to the fallout. We'll cover this in great detail in another video, Surviving Nuclear Fallout. Obviously, a very small terrorist or North Korean nuke is going to have less of an impact than a 5-megaton Chinese bomb. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is something you can do right now. Know the distance from your home to the nearest likely target to the nearest mile. Know the distance from your place of work to the nearest likely target. In fact, know the distance to any place you might spend a significant amount of time. While you might not have the luck to be in one of these places when a bomb goes off, the probability of you being at work or at home are the greatest. Thus, you increase the probability that you will survive. In nuclear war, like a few things, we can't be ready for everything. When I say likely targets, I mean the center of a city, military base, oil refinery, military manufacturing facility, power plant. I think you get the picture. We need to know the distance for a few reasons. First, it will give you an approximate guess as to how long after the flash the blast will arrive. It will tell you how long you have to wait under cover until you can move on to phase 2 of surviving a nuclear weapon. Most importantly, it will tell you the approximate distance from you to the bomb. Here's a table which I call flash to bang that will give you the approximate time it will take the shockwave to arrive, and the bang. Conversely, if your target guess was wrong, it will tell you how far away the bomb actually exploded. You will know by the mushroom cloud the direction, and with a map and a compass you can almost pinpoint ground zero. There is a caveat to this table though. The larger the bomb, the less time it will take for the blast to reach you. This is because in the first instance of the explosion, the fireball is expanding faster than the speed of sound. This can take 5 to 10 seconds off of this table in very high yield weapons. The last thing I'm going to suggest is that when you watch the weather, You pay attention not only to whether it will be warm or cold, rain or snow, but pay attention to the wind speed and direction. Knowing this will aid you in making future decisions. I'd even suggest putting a small windsock in your backyard. So, to recap, when you see the flash, start counting. Look at your watch as you take cover. Don't look at the flash. Wait under cover until you hear the bang and then wait another minute for the blast wave to pass over. Note the duration of the intense period of the flash. Note the time from the flash to the bang. This brings us to the end of the first part of Surviving Nuclear, the first minutes. Please subscribe to the Hat Ranch channel.
Wakey, it's Aftermath FM. It's Saturday morning. Penelope Nisha's here, and we're just running through some Tin Hat Ranch. Surviving the blast. So yeah, I mean, I'm just pointing out. He points out that, you know, just because there's a nuclear blast, it doesn't mean you're gonna die or whatever. There's lots of things you can do to protect yourself. And some of the easy things, and so we can leave this after you guys jump in, is some of the easy things. If something happens and there's something going on, there's fallout or whatever, you wear plastic around your shoes, you wear plastic bags over yourself when you go outside, and you leave that shit outside. You don't leave everything outside. Don't bring any of your clothes in the house. That's how you keep the dust, because basically what it is the dust particles that from the blast, when they go up in the air and they float around, this gets all over everything. So when you go outside, it's on the ground. Epic Journeyman, are you there? Because I know you're a nuclear waste expert, simply because you've been in submarines, and so you had to deal with nuclear capabilities and safety precautions. So what can you tell the audience about the nuclear fallout and what you could do for yourself to avoid death and destruction as portrayed in so many movies? Go ahead, mister. Go ahead, I see you there. I think did he pass out?
He's still muted.
Epic Journeyman, something happened to your equipment.
Your good music put him to sleep.
I don't know what happened to him. So what are you thinking? Time to move on to Aldous Huxley?
Well, yeah, hey, I could talk a little nuclear,
Please do.
I mean, they're doing the new, they got the new one that they're going to build, the new type of one that they're going to do that the first one runs on uranium, and the second one will daisy chain to it, which they're starting in Wyoming, and they're going to move over to Idaho, I believe it is, to do the second one, and it'll daisy chain over. It's Warren Buffett and Bill Gates.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump or Chiden. I like to call him Chiden.
Mm-hmm.
That administration's pushing hard, and Gates bought that company, I think, back in 2006. And that's his second step. He stepped out of Microsoft and he's going into nuclear. you know, and with him and Warren Buffett, and they got big plans for us with that.
Well, I mean, China just lit up their artificial sun. It's 3 times more intense than the sun last week. So I'm just trying to look over here and see what's going on with Epic Journeyman. If his equipment is gone south on him, or he just passed out. I'm not sure. It wouldn't be the first. It wouldn't be the first time.
Really?
One of our co-hosts passed out.
I fell asleep 3 times.
Well, I'll just say this: Rockin' Rio got sick on Monday, and I have not heard from him since the last time he said he was going to survive. And so hopefully he's doing all right, because he's on the East Coast. He's by himself, lives by himself. You know what I mean? And he tries to take care of himself as holistically as he can with natural methods or whatever. He's one of those kind of dudes. But I told him, I said, dude, do not F around, man, because
no, not that one.
No, because I mean, people, I've had, Epic Journeyman's one of them, but a friend of mine here went to the hospital because he couldn't breathe. I mean, just all of a sudden he was breathing, but he wasn't feeling like he was getting any oxygen. He felt like he was suffocating or whatever. So so listen, we got about 10 minutes left before the replay will end, because on the replay it's only 2 hours. So you're welcome to stick around after that if you want. But tell everybody where they can find you and what you got coming up. Do you have something coming up you're working on for this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it part 2. I just did 45 minutes podcast for Aftermath.fm, my last Thursday show. So usually when I go over like that, I'll upload a shorter version, and then I give Mike the full version, and he uploads the full version.
Oh, nice.
But it was good. It was over the last couple of years, I've been collecting snippets from scientists and stuff, and I ended up putting them all together so that people could get a good idea of what they say is true and maybe not true about some of this clot shot bogus stuff going on, this disease. Like you said, to fight it naturally as homeopathically as you can. I mean, there are ways to boost your immune system. So anyway, so that I have that, and then I do KTGO radio Wednesdays and Fridays, and then I also have my own podcast that I do. So I have PenelopeNesia.net and PenelopeNesia.com.
Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted you to do, is tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah.
So you did that, and that's perfect. All right, listen. So there's an Aldous Huxley interview with Mike Wallace back in 1958, and I'm going to jump into a little bit of that. So stand by, stick around. You're welcome to hang out. We're going to hit the break at the bottom of the hour, so I'm going to play this till the bottom of the hour break, and then we'll be back. Mom's Jimmy. It's into the microphone, and I don't know where Epic Journeyman went. I think he passed out, but I'm breaking his balls. I know something must have happened to his microphone.
A novel that predicted that someday the entire world would live under a frightful dictatorship. Today, Mr. Huxley says that his fictional world of horror is probably just around the corner for all of us. We'll find out why in a moment.
The Mike Wallace Interview, presented by the American Broadcasting Company in association with the Fund for the Republic, brings you a special television series discussing the problems of survival and freedom in America.
Good evening, I'm Mike Wallace. Tonight's guest, Aldous Huxley, is a man of letters, as disturbing as he is distinguished. Born in England, now a resident of California, Mr. Huxley has written some of the most electric novels and social criticism of this century. He's just finished a series of essays called Enemies of Freedom, in which he outlines and defines some of the threats to our freedom in the United States. And Mr. Huxley, right off the bat, let me ask you this. As you see it, who and what are the enemies of freedom here in the United States?
Well, I don't think you can say who in the United States. I don't think there are any sinister persons deliberately trying to rob people of their freedom. But I do think, first of all, that there are a number of impersonal forces which are pushing in the direction of less and less freedom. And I also think that there are a number of technological devices which anybody who wishes to use can use to accelerate this process of going away from freedom, of imposing control.
Well, what are these forces and these devices, Mr. Huxley?
I should say that there are two main impersonal forces. The first of them is not exceedingly important in the United States at the present time, though very important in other countries. This is the force which in general terms can be called overpopulation, the mounting pressure of population pressing upon existing resources. This, of course, is an extraordinary thing. Something is happening which has never happened in the world's history before. I mean, let's just take a simple fact that between the time of the birth of Christ and the landing of the Mayflower, the population of the Earth doubled. It rose from 250 million to probably 500 million. Today, the population of the Earth is rising at such a rate that it will double in half a century.
Well, why should overpopulation work to diminish our freedoms?
Well, in a number of ways. I mean, the experts in the field, like Harrison Brown, for example, pointed out that in the underdeveloped countries, actually the standard of living is at present falling, that people have less to eat and less goods per capita than they had 50 years ago. And as the position of these countries, the economic position, becomes more and more precarious, obviously the central government has to take over more and more responsibility for keeping the ship of state on an even keel. And then, of course, you're likely to get social unrest under such conditions, with again an intervention of the central government. So that I think one sees here a pattern which seems to be pushing very strongly towards a totalitarian regime. And unfortunately, as in all these underdeveloped countries, the only highly organized political party is the Communist Party, it looks rather as though they will be the heirs to this unfortunate process, that they will step into the position of power.
Well, then, ironically enough, one of the greatest forces against communism in the world, the Catholic Church, according to your thesis, would seem to be pushing us directly into the hands of the communists because they are against birth control.
Well, I think this strange paradox probably is true. It's an extraordinary situation, actually. I mean, one has to look at it, of course, from a biological point of view. The whole essence of biological life on Earth is a question of balance, and what we have done is to practice death control in a most intensive manner without
Monday through Friday, 10:30 Pacific, right here.
Live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific. But what happens when you miss an episode? Aftermath.fm is the official free streaming network of Ground Zero, featuring some of the top voices in paranormal and parapolitical radio and podcasts, such as The Leo Zagami Show, Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean, The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable, The Kev Baker Show, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray Valentine, and much, much more. What are you waiting for? Head on over to Aftermath.fm right now and get complete on-demand access to the Ground Zero archives, as well as the works of a dozen other hosts. Sign up right now and get complete access to our study groups, videos, and document archives, and connect with other listeners on our private social media network. Aftermath.fm, home of quality counterculture talk radio. Aftermath.fm.
It happens more often than we can imagine. In my case, I was sitting at home, and out of nowhere, I just started feeling uncomfortable. Then it got worse, and I started perspiring. I tried to ignore it, but I waited too long. The chest pain came as we were driving to the hospital emergency. I felt my life clock begin to tick. I barely survived. There was lots of damage done to my heart. What do I do now? I was lucky. I took a leap of faith and tried a 7-herb formula with hawthorn, garlic, cayenne, and more called Extendivite. Herbs have been used for thousands of years to keep us healthy. If you're not using Extendivite as a preventative supplement, maybe it's time to start. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
We talking about peace. A piece of yours, a piece of mine. A piece of mine, one nation, under a groove. This is a world. This is a world.
It's in the microcosm.
This is a world.
I had a war outside and a bomb in the street and a gun in the hood and a mob of police and a rock on the corner and a line full of fiend and a bottle full of lean and a motto on a scheme, yep. These days of frustration keep y'all on tuck in rotation. I duck these cold faces, post up, feed 5-4 for bases. Dreams are reality's piece. Blow steam in the face of the beast. The sky can fall down, the wind can cry now. The strong in me, I still smile.
I love myself.
The world is a ghetto with big guns and dick inside.
I love myself. I got a bone to pick. I don't want you monkey mouth motherfucker sitting in my throne again. I'm mad, but I ain't stressing. True friends, one question. Bitch, where you and I was walking. Now I run the game, got the whole world talking. King Kunta, everybody wanna cut the legs off him. Kunta, black man taking no losses. Oh yeah. Bitch, where you and I was walking. Now I run the game, got the whole world talking. King Kunta, everybody wanna cut the legs off him. When you got the yams. What's the yams? The yam is the power that be.
Recognize me, it's your favorite president, and I'm standing in front of the Oval Office at the White House, which is always an exciting place to be. I got back a day ago from Walter Reed Medical Center. I spent 4 days there. I think this was a blessing from God that I caught it. This was a blessing in disguise. I caught it, I heard about this drug, I said, let me take it. It was my suggestion. I said, let me take it. And it was incredible the way it worked, incredible. And I think if I didn't catch it, we'd be looking at that like a number of other drugs. But it really did a fantastic job. I want to get for you what I got, and I'm going to make it free. You're not going to pay for it. It wasn't your fault that this happened. It was China's fault. And China's going to pay a big price, what they've done to this country. China's going to pay a big price, what they've done to the world. This was China's fault. And just remember that. So we're going to get you the drug. It's going to be free. We're going to get it into the hospitals as soon as you can, as soon as we can. And you'll see some amazing things happen because we have, our military is doing the distribution. It's called logistics. And they deliver hundreds of thousands of troops in a matter of days. This is easy stuff for them. Our general's all ready. We're waiting for the emergency use authorization. And the drug companies have just made a lot of it. So hopefully this is going to be not just a therapeutic, it's going to be much more than a therapeutic. You're going to get better, you're going to get better fast, just like I did. So again, a blessing in disguise. Good luck.
The weasel. Let's all sing, Pop Goes the Weasel.
You're fired.
Pop goes the weasel, goes the weasel, goes pop.
They destroyed the world. They destroyed the world. They destroyed the world.
The entire Los Angeles area. Already hospital facilities have begun to crack under the strain, and civil defense authorities state that the situation is much the same across the entire country. Martial law is now nationwide.
Major cities in all parts of the country, New York, Los Angeles, report plague.
All right. sitting here in the dark in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and my mom had some surgery. She went transhumanist, got a pacemaker put in, and so I had to move the gear back over to the house for a couple days. And so I'm sitting out here on the veranda, and I'm in the dark, so I misfired there. I'm trying to close that out. So we're here with Penelope Nisha. Epic Journeyman passed out.
It's a good thing I popped in.
I know it is, and so and thanks for coming in. And before you take off again, make sure we're gonna be gone in about another 30 minutes or so. But before we do, make sure you tell everybody where they can find you. So there was Aldous Huxley in 1958, saying that he sees technology and the overpopulation resulting in communistic totalitarianism across the planet. So we can continue on with some of this if you'd like. I don't know if you've ever heard this before. I'll make sure I drop it in here so you can listen to the whole thing. It's about an hour long, I think, total. I think, forgive me. See, I don't know. It's like 28 minutes long, but there's a lot here. Mine's Jimmy. It's in the microcosm. That's Penelope Nisha, and you can find her here on Thursdays, 3 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Central.
Balancing this with the birth control at the other end. Consequently, the birth rates remain as high as they were, and death rates have fallen substantially.
All right, then. So much for the time being, anyway, for overpopulation. Another force that is diminishing our freedoms.
Well, another force which I think is very strongly operative in this country is the force of what may be called over-organization. As technology becomes more and more complicated, it becomes necessary to have more and more elaborate organizations, more hierarchical organizations. And incidentally, the advance of technology has been accompanied by an advance in the science of organization. It's now possible to make organizations on a larger scale than was ever possible before. And so that you have more and more people living their lives out as subordinates in these hierarchical systems controlled by bureaucracies, either the bureaucracies of big business or the bureaucracies of big government.
Now, the devices that you were talking about, are there specific devices or methods of communication which diminish our freedoms in addition to overpopulation and over-organization?
Well, there are certainly devices which can be used in this way. I mean, let us take, after all, a piece of very recent and very painful history is the propaganda used by Hitler, which was incredibly effective. I mean, what were Hitler's methods? Hitler used terror on the one kind, brute force on the one hand, but he also used a very efficient form of propaganda, which he was using every modern device at that time. He didn't have TV, but he had the radio, which he used to the fullest extent, and was able to impose his will on an immense mass of people. I mean, the Germans were a highly educated people.
Well, we're aware of all this, but how do you equate Hitler's use of propaganda with the way that propaganda, if you will, is used, let us say, here in the United States? Are you suggesting that there is a parallel?
Needless to say, it's not being used in this way now. But the point is, it seems to me, that there are methods at present available, methods superior in some respects to Hitler's method, which could be used in a bad situation. I mean, what I feel very strongly is that we mustn't be caught by surprise by our own advancing technology. This has happened again and again in history. With technology has advanced, and this changes social conditions, and suddenly people have found themselves in a situation which they didn't foresee and doing all sorts of things they didn't really want to do.
Well, now, what do you mean? Do you mean that we develop our television, but we don't know how to use it correctly? Is that the point that you're making?
Well, at present, the television, I think, is being used quite harmlessly. It's being used, I think, I would feel it's being used too much to distract everybody all the time. But, I mean, imagine, which must be the situation in all communist countries, where the television, where it exists, is always saying the same thing the whole time, is always driving along. It's not creating a wide front of distraction, it's creating a one-pointed drumming in of a single idea all the time. It's obviously an immensely powerful instrument.
So you're talking about the potential misuse of the instrument.
Exactly. We have, after all technology is in itself morally neutral. These are just powers which can either be used well or ill. It's the same thing with atomic energy. We can either use it to blow ourselves up, or we can use it as a substitute for the coal and the oil which are running out.
You've even written about the use of drugs in this light.
Well, now, this is a very interesting subject. I mean, in this book that you mentioned, this book of mine, Brave New World, I postulated a substance called soma, which was a very versatile drug. It would make people feel happy in small doses. It would make them see visions in medium doses, and it would send them to sleep in large doses. Well, I don't think such a drug exists now, nor do I think it will ever exist, but we do have drugs which will do some of these things, and I think it's quite on the cards that we may have drugs which will profoundly change our mental states without doing us any harm. I mean, this is the pharmacological revolution which has taken place, that we have now powerful mind change.
So there's Aldous Huxley. It's into the Microcosms Aftermath FM here with the Penalty. What do you think about that? That's wild, no? I mean,
yeah. Why did he think that there was going to possibly be drugs?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, looks like we got a call coming in. Stand by. So there we go. We'll find out who that is in a second here.
Wild.
There you go. Hey, 520, what's happening? You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, man? I was just listening to you on YouTube on my tablet.
What's
I
happening?
just wanted to call in tell you about something that relates to kind of like transhumanism.
Sweet.
And the shots.
Right on, man.
So I was a student at the University of Arizona in 2002 spring semester. The U of A is very highly. It's a big science school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they help create like the rovers go on Mars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I saw a flyer on the wall, and I got to go there for free. It's an auditorium with like 100, 200 people.
Mm-hmm.
There was a scientist from England, and he had this thing implanted on the inside of his arm, between his elbow and his wrist on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 4 to 5 inches long, 2 to 3 inches wide, and he said, this is going to be used to connect people to the internet. I don't have it working yet, but you'll be able to think about somebody and call them and talk to them in your mind. You'll be able to access the internet through your brain. And he said, in 20 years from now, the technology is going to be so great that we'll just be able to put all this into you with a shot.
Wow.
So this was at a major university,
right?
20 years ago.
Well, you know what, man? I'll tell you what, I'm glad you called, and that is really, really powerful. And it reminded me of now I'm going to recommend this to you, bro. You can watch this on YouTube for free. Not only is it funnier than hell, but it's real interesting in the sense that what it talks about. It's a spoof movie called The President's Analyst, starring James Coburn. All right, now I'm going to play a clip from that movie now that you just brought that up. All right, so you hang out here now. You're with Penelope Nisha here. Penelope Nisha, say hello to caller from 520. And I'm going to...
My name is Mike.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike, stand by. So what I'm going to do is have a chat with Penelope Nisha for a second. And I'm going to get you guys this clip from The President's Analyst. You guys are going to love this, man. Elon Musk didn't come up with that shit.
Yeah, he's the face of it.
I mean, most of these guys are just frontmen.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, it comes from the deep scientific elite, you know?
Yeah, Mike's right. Yeah, it's weird the way they all look so strange. Hi, Mike. I'm Penelope Nisha. Nice to meet you.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, so it is. I definitely believe Elon Musk is the face of all that. What's his company called? I'm getting tired.
Yeah, I mean, he's in multiple different things, but same thing with like Zuckerberg and stuff. You know about LifeLog, right?
Mm-hmm.
that was a DARPA project, and then it was found unconstitutional, and then Facebook went live the same day.
Yeah, it's
So-
interesting. DARPA's coming back up again so much like they are lately with the Project Veritas video that they had against Fauci. That's pretty interesting.
I mean, the same thing with like Gates. He was just like a front man because of his family, and they just put him up. They need someone to do it. It was all.
Yeah, they're just the guys with they're the guys that are gonna either take the fall at the end or be the face for their life or whatever, and they just move these monies.
Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, because they're bred into it, so they
Mm-hmm.
just keep going along with the family, generational agenda.
Yeah, I mean, we did a show a month or two ago about eugenics and the whole tie to IBM and the original development of the computer was to mark people and track people in the concentration camps.
Well, yeah, I mean, IBM was involved with the Nazis with the punch cards, rounding people up and identifying people. I mean, there's books written about that. It's already known.
All right, listen, President's Analyst. Now, this clip here, this is called. Okay, let me set this up. All right, just so people are not swinging in the wind. All right, so the thing is the President of the United States has to have somebody to talk to. Okay. So the premise of this movie is this guy, James Coburn, is an analyst. He's got this client, and the client's in there on the couch, and he's been coming there for a period of time. But really, he's been coming there undercover to check him out, and they want this guy to be the president's analyst. So this is the guy, every time the president needs somebody to talk to, they're going to call you up and say, come over and talk to me. So he accepts the job, all right? And that's the premise of the movie is he gets this job as the president's analyst, and he feels thrilled, and he feels like, he feels special, You see all these scenes where every time the president wants him, this red light starts flashing, no matter where he is. Like, he's at a restaurant with his girlfriend, they're having dinner. He's talking to her. All of a sudden, the red light starts flashing out of the soup bowl on his face. He needs me, or whatever, and he just gets up and leaves. And then, all of a sudden, he starts to realize that he doesn't want to be the president's analyst anymore. Because everybody's after him. Every country is trying to get him, because he knows the president tells him everything. So everybody wants to catch him, So he decides he's out of here, man. He takes off, and he takes off running. And while he's running, he bumps into all these different people, and all these people are trying to kill him. There's like 5 or 6 different hitmen trying to get him, and it's all this stuff. And so there's this part where he's out in there's a thing called the phone company, TPC, and it's basically the government, but it's AT&T, basically. But so what happens is he goes out in the desert, and he finds this phone booth. And he gets in it. He escapes from this guy who captured him, this Russian guy. He escapes, and he's somewhere in the middle of the desert. He finds a phone booth. There's nobody around. It's in the middle of nowhere. He gets in the phone booth, and the phone booth is an elevator. And it takes him down inside an underground base. And when he gets down there, this is a dude sitting there behind a control panel, and there's a giant flat screen TV behind him. This movie's like from the late 60s, I think, early 70s. So this whole elaborate thing is there, and so now I have set it up. I don't know how long that took. Now you almost don't even have to watch it. No, I'm telling you right now, it's the fun. You will laugh your ass off watching this movie. I'll tell you that right now. Super sarcastic, and it actually shows you a lot about the intelligence agencies. My name's Jim. It's Into the Microcosm. Mike's here. Penelope Nisha's here. You're here. Stand by. Here comes the president's analyst. Okay, his phone booth is now in the room and is swinging around. James Coburn's locked inside the phone booth, and this dude is about to come in here. And he's calling him on the phone.
Hello?
Hi there. Glad to have you aboard, Dr. Schaefer.
Aboard?
We're mighty sorry about any trouble or inconvenience we might have caused you, but I know once we've explained our problem, you'll understand.
Where is this? I mean, where am I? Who are you?
How about that? I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Arlington Hughes. I'm president of TPC.
DPC?
The phone company.
The phone company?
Doctor, do you have any idea how much your phone company spends each year just on maintenance?
No, I've never really thought about that.
Well, I guess many people don't. But those billions of miles of wire and all those exchanges, why, just the maintenance on our thousands of offices and buildings. And that's not even to mention our rolling stock, the cars and trucks, the airplanes and satellites, and then all those fine people who are actually on the payroll to take care of all that. Now, wouldn't it be just grand if we could get rid of all that old-fashioned hardware?
What's this all about?
And there's another thing that's going to come as a surprise to you. There are quite a few people who actually dislike the phone company.
Why have you kidnapped me?
And because of this irrational dislike of their own publicly owned company, they often don't pay their bills and sometimes even damage the equipment. Would you look over here, Doctor? Now, to look at that hand, you'd never dream you were also looking at a miracle in modern communications, would you? Well, sir, let's take a closer look. Thanks to the science of microelectronics, you are looking at a complete telephonic receiver and transmitter. We call it the cerebrum communicator, or the CC for short. This dandy little device can actually perform every function of the old-fashioned telephone and more. And it does it without any costly maintenance, without telephone poles, without wires, without exchanges, without anything, in fact, except another CC in another location. And now you're probably wondering, why have we made it so small? Because it will be in and powered by your own brain. Fantastic? Well, not quite, no. We merely inject the CC into that part of the bloodstream which leads directly to the brain. Technically speaking, for you doctors, we inject the CC into the internal carotid artery. The bloodstream carries it directly to the cerebrum, where it lodges comfortably in the anterior central gyrus, which for us laymen is simply that part of the brain where intellectual associations take place. Can you imagine the ease, the fun with which you can place a call? Why, all you have to do is think the number of the person you wish to speak with, and you're in instant communication anywhere in the world.
Would you like an opinion of a qualified psychiatrist on all that I've just seen and heard?
Yes, sir, I sure would, sir. We're always interested in the opinions of qualified people. I mean, after all, it's your phone company, too.
You're a megalomaniac, and the phone company is psychotic.
Getting back to our problem, we realize the public has a misguided resistance to numbers. For example, digit dialing.
Resisting depersonalization.
And so Congress will have to pass a law substituting personal numbers for names as the only legal identification, and requiring a prenatal insertion of the cerebrum communicator. Now then, a communication tax could be levied and paid directly to the phone company.
It'll never happen.
Well, it could happen. If the power of his office for us old public opinion to get that legislation.
And that's where I come.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The ceremony is about to begin. Let me tell you about heartache and the loss of God. Wandering, wandering in hopeless night. Out here in the perimeter, there are no stars. Out here we is stone, immaculate. Riders on the storm.
I was almost out of here, but I stalled. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, everybody, how you doing? There it is. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? There it is on that. There it all was right there. You talk about what do they try to call this? Future programming. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, they like to tell us. They like to tell us up front.
I know. Well, I mean, it's a little bit almost ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm so glad you called, Mike, because I mean, I've brought this up on the show. We've done a whole show on this movie itself, just because there's so much stuff.
I've never seen that movie. I've never even heard of it.
No, well, I definitely, if you like to laugh, if you like satire, I'd highly recommend it. I mean, the sarcasm in that movie is unbelievable. You know, it's a good movie.
See, but like another thing that I've been listening to you recently, you're saying there's no need for banks or digital currency.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told back then that your bank account will be saved in your body with that technology.
That's interesting because they, Bill Gates.
I think that's what I think that's what the digital tattoo is for.
Yeah, well, it's
they're
possible.
They're gonna put the passport and all your stuff on your phone. You're gonna get tired of that. Then you just be in your body or scan you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll know who you're around if you're on especially with the social credit system. You're on an unvaccinated person. You're eating too much meat. They know everywhere you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You're drinking too much alcohol. You're doing this type of drugs.
Yeah.
Whatever. You're having sex. Oh, you shouldn't be having sex. Lower your social credit score. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, you're 100% correct, my friend. And I'll tell you, there's a patent Bill Gates has where they're going to mine Bitcoin with your body movement. So, and you'll know if you're
Oh,
not.
yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's, cryptocurrency based on body activity.
Uh-huh. And so
I've seen that on other podcasts.
Yeah, so you play so you're going to play whatever you're doing that day, and then that's the amount of money that you'll make will go into your account, like WeMe over in China. You know, everybody's money's on their Facebook or whatever, and they spend money back and forth. You know, you're 100% right. You know, let me just say, if people didn't want to take a chip into their body, there's a piece of technology that is like a Bluetooth. It's almost like a patch. It's like a piece of tape almost, but it goes right onto your skin, man. You know what I mean? You don't.
Oh yeah. That Bill Gates has a patent for that.
And the thing is, what you do is
Microneedles. You can't even feel them because they don't hit the nerves.
Yeah. So you get that on. You could put that on your wrist, and then you could wear a watch-like device, like say for example Amazon Halo. And that Amazon Halo's Bluetooth connection will take that ID off of that tape-like substance, and you'll be connected to the internet through that device that you wear on your wrist. So these two things, the thing is to scare the public with the thought of jamming a rice-like thing into your skin, showing that big old honking needle thing going, you know, and then they go, well, if you don't want that, you can have this, you know, and everybody's going to go, oh, I'll take that piece of tape thing, you know, of course.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, also that doctor that got busted from MIT, that scientist, for supposedly sharing secrets with China or whatever.
Yeah.
He has a patent for like nanotech
I know.
that you can use in the nasal swab.
I know. We've done about, I don't know.
I know you know that. I know a lot of people know that, but I mean the majority of the general public do not know that.
A lot of people don't.
That's why I was supposed to get surgery recently, and I didn't get it because the hospital wouldn't do it without it. But back in August, I had surgery, and the hospital let me do it without it. So it's like, you got to push back a little bit.
Check this out, man. Go type that guy's name in, Harvard Magazine. Just write this down or try to remember 2001 and I think it's 2006. Type that guy's name in, Harvard Magazine. You look at the articles, transistor size, virus size transistors. And
I got it wrong. I said MIT. It's Harvard. Yeah.
Yeah. Virus size transistors and liquid computing was what that dude was into. So that dude was into being able to make a computer out of living cells. So that dude's an intense. That dude is so intense. It's not even funny. You know. So yeah, it's surprising that he dropped off the radar right
Oh
after
yeah,
that.
you didn't hear anything about that. The Josephine Maxwell kind of took it over.
Yeah, well,
What'd you say, Jimmy?
A little bit.
Hey, stand by. We got about 1 minute left before we go. Well, we're still live on YouTube though, so stick around, Penelope. Charles Lieber is the guy's name. Charles
Thank
Lieber,
you.
Harvard Magazine, 2001. Harvard Magazine. You can see his patents. He was arrested for tax, but he was tied directly into the Wuhan lab situation. Over there, and he was arrested right at the beginning of the plot.
Right. He took quite a bit of money.
Yeah, well, there's another guy that goes around. He's called Dr. Doom. He's a guy that sells technology to the military. Oh man, we just blew out of the network. We're out. Yeah, we just ended. I didn't say goodbye to those guys. We're number 5 on TalkStream Live anyway. And let me see. We had, I don't know how many people were still on the website. I think it looked like it said 700, but it might have been from an hour ago. So yeah, no, Charles Lieber, and that is an intense subject, especially right now too. Nanotechnology.
Actually, in the very beginning, when all that was going on, the guy caught with the vials in his socks trying to go through the airport, and the husband and wife in the Canadian lab.
Yeah.
Their cohorts. I mean, there was a lot of them in the very beginning that they talked about, and then it got real quiet. And if you didn't catch it in the beginning, then you don't know about it now usually.
Yeah. Well, the memory hole is wide as it is deep. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, thank God for screenshots too, because they wiped a lot of it.
We're down the road already. Now it's almost like somebody was saying it's already the middle of January. I mean, the first 3 months of this year are probably gonna fly by. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining, Appreciate it.
Sure.
Let's get in touch. Just if you want to contact me, just do it through Skype because I'm always on it.
Yeah.
And then as far as everybody else is concerned, thanks for being here. We've got about 40 people over here on YouTube. So if you guys want to say hi, hey, what's up, Punjabi Prepper? Raw Magnolia's over here. Ozion, Zach, my kid's future, Tommy Pierce. Let me see what else over here. Robin, hey, what's going on, Robin? Mary Lou's over here. Let me see what else over here. Thunderbolt. Lisa Rue. Hey, so Lisa Rue, you were saying earlier something about oxygen. Were you having a hard time breathing? You know what I've been tripping on? Just as a side note, that there's something going on with the atmosphere itself, and that's why people can't breathe. And so having those masks on makes people think the reason they can't breathe is because they got the mask on. But really, it's because there's some fucking shit going on with the atmosphere. I think, there's something going on. More than what, I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. I guess the next couple of weeks will tell. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Jimmy, I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be interesting, just back in 2002, this scientist said that you can, they're trying to connect people to the internet with this device, embedding it in your arm, kind of like what they want to do with the head now. But he said in 20 years from now, they could just connect you just using the technology be so advanced by then that just by putting a shot in your arm.
I know.
I thought people should understand that,
They
I mean,
should.
I think there's a little bit more going on than what people think.
There is, and I mean, you've heard that dude. Did you hear that whistleblower dude that I played that said he worked for a contractor where they took control of people's skulls and they could see out through their eyes like a movie, and they just sit there and write.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I heard you said that. I just started listening to you about maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
Oh, cool, man. Well, yeah, man.
Because I found out Aftermath through David Knight, because I used to listen to him on Infowars. And then after that, I found him on here, and then I just happened to hit, some of the podcasts, and I listen to the podcast every day. All the guys, I like them.
Badass. Well,
So
I'm glad
that's how I found you guys out.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, man. We're stoked to be at Aftermath, man. We've been around for about 7 years or so. So if you go to my YouTube channels, Into the Microcosm of Jimmy G.
Oh yeah.
Shit,
I watch you at night on the YouTube.
Oh, kick ass, man. Well, listen, I gotta get cruising. So Penelope, thanks a mil, and thank you, Mike, for calling. Make sure call back anytime, bro, on any subject.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Especially.
Yeah, I was thinking about calling like a couple nights ago, but I've never called in before. I was a little nervous, but I figured I'd do it tonight.
No, you sound great too. So whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. And let me see. Next week we got Mr. Rowe on Monday. Doc McCarron's on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, I got this dude, LB Bork. He's going to come on, man. And he talks a lot about the Constitution and talks a lot about the law. And we're probably going to get into the 13th Amendment and showing people that if less than 50% of the population shows up for an election, that it's not valid. So,
they would lie. They'd have so many dead people voting. If I plan on calling in next time, Jimmy, I'll make sure I have my computer and my mic.
Oh yeah. Just let me know ahead of time, huh? Just send me a message.
You guys were talking about stuff I had just talked about too, and I was just like, "Whoa, really?"
Kick ass. Well, yeah, jump in anytime. If we're talking about something that you're interested in, just like send me a message during the show, and I'll just add you when I
Yeah, do you check your DMs at all, ever in Discord?
No, because I can't get in there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, when mine was doing that, I uninstalled the Discord and then reinstalled it, and then I only go into the cave, I guess. My phone does better in the cave.
Well, enjoy the cave, and I'm going to go get myself, I think I'm going to make myself I went to the store today, and I got some Italian dry salami, and I had them slice that shit so thin, you can literally see through it, and I'm going to go go inside.
It's the little things in life that make us happy.
That's right, man. That's what I'm saying. If I turned everything off and just had a nice salami sandwich right now.
Okay.
Good night. Good night. Nothing but crickets. Hey, Washington, Sean, what's happening? Yeah. Hey, you guys. Hey, Mary Lou, good to see everybody. All right. Thunderbolt, good to see you. On the Anzac. Last one, bitchin'. Epic passed out. I don't know. I don't think he passed out, but I think his something happened to his gear. He's still in the call, but he can't talk, and I've heard a bunch of clicking noises. So I think that might have been him trying to talk. So I think he might have broke a wire or something. Who knows? You never know. All right.
One of these days I'm gonna pay it back one of these days. And then they told me I could be somebody if I didn't let too much get in my way. And I tried so hard just to be myself, but I keep on fading away. When the lights went out, I didn't know what to do. If I could fool myself, then I'd fool you. One of these days, I'm gonna pay it back one of these days. One of these days, I'm gonna pay it back one of these days. I wouldn't say that I was raised on romance. Let's not get stuck in the past.
The mothership has landed.